What's up, you guys? My name is Aubrey and this is my channel, and today we're going to be talking about the EIDL grant, the EIDL grant, because as you guys know, this grant program is opening up to the general public in June, in just a few weeks or in a few days. We don't know exactly when it's opening up, but we do know that it's opening up in the month of June, and we are very, very excited about it. And so that begs the question of how can you prepare for when this opens up? How can you put yourself in a position to be one of the first in line to receive a potential $15,000 grant from the SBA? And that's the exact question that I'm going to be answering today. I'm going to be walking you through the steps of how you could place yourself in this line. That way you will be prioritized for this grant money. So let's get started. Now, of course, today's Memorial Day, so happy Memorial Day to my American viewers, which is the vast majority of you that watch this channel. And for those of you that have lost loved ones who have served in the military, my thoughts are with you, my thoughts are with your loved ones, and I hope that you guys have a good day observing your loved ones. Now, with that, let's dig into the topic of this video, which is the EIDL grant. So as you guys know, and I made a couple of videos on this topic over the last week, if you guys haven't watched those, I highly encourage you to check it out because there are some good information about these programs and who could benefit from these programs in those videos. But as you guys know, the SBA administrator this past week in a hearing to the Senate Committee of Small Business and Entrepreneurship had really kind of nonchalantly stated that the EIDL grant program was coming back and opening back up to the general public in June. Now, as you guys know, right now we have two tiers of the EIDL grant program. We have the targeted EIDL advance, which is a $10,000 cash advance, and we have the supplemental targeted advance, which is $5,000. Both of these programs have their own sets of criteria and their own requirements, and both of them were invite only, which means you were only able to apply if you had received an email invitation. According to the SBA administrator herself, there has been over 13.5 million emails sent out to potential recipients of this grant program, and as we see here today, there is quite a lot of funds still left over. So now it's time to distribute it to you guys. Now, the thing that's important to keep in mind about these email invites is the fact that in order to receive an email invite, you not only had to, one, meet all of the pieces of criteria for these two programs, and number two, you had to have applied for the EIDL loan, not the EIDL grant, before December 27th, 2020. If you were somebody who applied for the EIDL loan after December 27th, 2020, then you did not get an email invite, even if you met all of the pieces of criteria. So then that begs the question of what is going to be the pieces of criteria now that the SBA is going to use to determine eligibility for the EIDL grant that's opening back up. Now, as of right now, there's a lot that we don't know. We don't know what the criteria will be. We don't know if the SBA will drop this low income eligibility requirement that they had. We don't know if they'll drop the gross revenue requirement that they had. We don't know any of that. But the one thing that we do know, and this was stated by the SBA administrator herself, is the fact that once the EIDL grant program does open back up, it will prioritize people that have applied for the EIDL loan after December 27th, 2020. So that means that if you need to get in line for the EIDL grant, this $15,000 grant that could be considered free money, you have to first apply for the EIDL loan. So in order to do this, what you will need to do is you'll need to go to the SBA.gov website. You will then need to go to the EIDL loan section, and this is what the page looks like here. You will then need to select apply. Once you select apply, you will then be brought through the application process, which is fairly straightforward, very easy to do. I do have videos on this topic, so if you guys are interested in watching those, I will include some links down in the description below. But for the most part, it is pretty straightforward. You will have to have some verifiable information, including tax documents, including EIN or social security number, so be prepared to provide that if you want to apply for the EIDL loan. Now, as of right now, it is confirmed that in order to get in line for the EIDL grant, you have to apply for the EIDL loan. So if you're somebody that has already applied for the EIDL loan back at the end of December and the beginning of January or February, March, April, or in May, then you are already in line, which is great news. You do not have to do anything at this point. We just need to wait for further SBA guidance on how exactly the application process will work from here on out. If you're somebody who is wanting to apply for the loan purely for the sake of getting the EIDL grant, then there are still a handful of questions that we simply don't know yet. Number one is the EIDL grant contingent on the approval of the EIDL loan? Meaning, are you only able to get the EIDL grant if you are approved for the EIDL loan? This is something that went back and forth pretty much all of 2020, and it is still not 100% clear about how the SBA is handling this on a case-by-case basis. Secondly, is the EIDL grant going to be contingent on not only your approval, but also your acceptance of the EIDL loan? Meaning, will you have to accept and actually receive EIDL loan funds in order to be eligible to receive EIDL grant funds? This is again something that has historically had an impact. It's unclear if it will moving forward. But one potential way around this is to accept a smaller loan amount. For example, if you were somebody who applied for the EIDL loan, maybe you were offered $10,000 for your business, you could potentially only accept $1,000 or $5,000 and then use that as a way to get in line for the full $15,000. Now, I'm not advising that you do that because I'm not 100% sure if that method would work, but I think that is something to keep in mind moving forward. Now, as of right now, you guys, this is really all we know about the EIDL grant, unfortunately. We know that it's opening up in June. We know that once it's opened, it's going to prioritize people who've applied for the EIDL loan after December 27th, 2020. That's all we know. So if you want to get in line, then I would explore the option of applying for the EIDL loan. But keep in mind that the loan is still a loan. It is a low interest loan. It is a relatively low risk loan, but it is still debt. Debt is just that. It's debt. And depending on the circumstance, debt can be something that can be very negative and not a good thing. And before you apply for the EIDL loan for the sake of getting in line for the EIDL grant, I would encourage you guys to really think about whether or not this is a smart decision for you. For some of you guys who watch this video, it will be. For others, it won't be. But it's important to evaluate your own situation and your own circumstance before moving forward with anything. Now, again, in order to apply for the EIDL loan, you're going to want to go to the SBA's website, specifically the EIDL loan page. It looks like this. I will also include a link to this down in the description below. You will then want to scroll down until you see the button that says apply here. From there, you will want to click it. You will then be brought to the EIDL loan application. You will then have this important notification here that says this application portal is for COVID-19 EIDL loan requests only. If you're seeking to apply for the targeted EIDL advance grant, please visit blah, 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 to learn more about eligibility requirements and how to access the next round of EIDL advance funds. Then you're going to click continue. And then from there, you can start filling out the application, which is, again, fairly straightforward. It takes you through a few different prompts, a few different steps, and then that's it. But like always, you guys, I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I hope that it gave you some valuable insight into how you can get in line for the EIDL grant. Like always, if you have any questions, comments, if you have anything to add, then make sure to leave a comment down below. And while you guys are at it, make sure to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell. And I will see you guys in the next video.